do something a little different today. I'm about to share one of the introductory courses, curriculums, episodes, whatever you want to call it, that we offer. If you don't know this, we offer mini courses to business owners who have an audience of business owners who could benefit from some financial literacy, who could benefit from learning how to DIY their books. Perhaps they're not at a point in their career where they should be outsourcing that. If they're maybe needing to know how to actually pay themselves, that's what this mini course is. It's an introductory to our core program, learning how to DIY your books, learning how to manage the cash when it comes into your business, and prioritizing profit so you, the business owner, gets paid. We do it in about a 7-module mini course. If you are interested in that, I would be happy to share it with you. If you have an audience of business owners, just comment down below and we will get that over to you. And real quick, if you're like, who the heck are you? My name is Cheryl. I have a business partner, Katrina, and together we own Empower to Profit, where we help small business owners put more of that revenue into their personal account. And without further ado, so you've started a new business. That's super exciting. In these trainings, we're going to teach you the financial things you need to do to ensure you are personally profitable and you're also following the law. But don't worry, we're not going to make it hard, complicated, or boring. We're going to straight to the point, simple, easy to understand lingo, so you can master your numbers and become more personally profitable. So let's just jump into it. During this lesson, we're going to cover what you legally have to do. We're going to talk about some bookkeeping, a little bit into taxes, what is required of you. We're going to hit on that. We're going to go into what bank accounts you need, accounting software, and all about profit planning. But let me remind you, we're going to keep it simple, not so boring, and certainly not stuffy. So let's just jump right into it. What the heck do you even have to do so you don't get in trouble? So many people start a business and then they are scared and they're nervous by all this financial lingo, taxes, fear of being audited. First, I want to stress, if you follow these simple guidelines, if you manage your numbers, as I'm going to teach you to do, you have nothing to worry about. No one's going to come and handcuff you. It's not a big scary thing. Yes, there are certain legal requirements. We're going to talk about it, the best way that you can manage those if we are not in a spot where it makes sense to outsource. And spoiler alert, it does not always make sense to outsource. But we're going to set you up so you have nothing to fear when it comes to taxes or the government or any of that stuff people usually get scared and nervous about. So let's jump into what you legally have to do. Legally, you have to manage your bookkeeping. So when I say you have to do bookkeeping, that means you have to classify your income and your expenses and put them into categories. That's what you're legally required to do. And you have to do that because that information is then moved onto your tax forms when you file your taxes. And when you hear that big, scary, you're being audited, what they're doing is they're looking at those categories that you put on your taxes and the dollar amount associated with them, and they're verifying those amounts. So it all goes back to your bookkeeping is essential when you run a business. It's not an optional, it's not a nice to have, it's legally required. Now, if we take it a little step further, bookkeeping isn't just legally required, obviously for your tax compliance as we just talked about, but your bookkeeping is the key to give you your numbers, your data, so you can grow and scale your business. Your bookkeeping is going to give you the data you need. So like I just said, you can scale, you can grow. So if you want to borrow funds, if you're looking to take out a loan, you need your bookkeeping records in order to take out that business loan. If you ever decide you want to exit your company, if you want to sell it, perhaps you're building something to sell, perhaps you're building to make an exit, you need those bookkeeping records, and that is what's going to be examined when someone determines what they want to offer for your business. And lastly, your bookkeeping records is going to help you with the data so you can confidently pay your staff, but most importantly, pay you. Bookkeeping provides the historical activity. So let me break that down. Bookkeeping is going to tell you what you've done in the past and you're going to use that information to make a forward-facing or a decision that will affect your future. So said one more time, your bookkeeping covers what you did in the past, all your financial records in the past. You're going to use that information to help you make an informed and educated decision for going forward. Your bookkeeping, that categorizing your income and expenses, is the key to all of that. So the most important thing you can have accurate in your business is your financial records. Because let's be real, as we said, we did not start this business to not get paid. And in order to pay yourself with confidence and an amount that makes sense for the business you have built, you can determine that from your bookkeeping or your historical financial records to make that forward-facing decision. Okay, so bookkeeping, yes, it is legally required by the government so you can file your taxes, but it is also the key to scaling and growing your company. If you ever want to borrow funds, if you're ever looking for a loan as a self-employed individual, if you personally are ever looking for a loan, a mortgage, a car, whatever, they're going to want to see your financial records from your business. If you ever want to sell or exit your company, again, it's the bookkeeping records that they're going to ask for. And we're going to cover them in a later training. We're going to talk about your profit and loss and your balance sheet. So let's not get caught up there now. I just want you to walk away with understanding if you have one thing accurate in your business, it's to start with the financial. Moving on, let's talk about what you need financially to run your business. We are a huge advocate for the Profit First system, so I recommend that you have 5 bank accounts, and I don't want you to pay for them. There's ways we can do that. We'll talk about that when we cover the Profit First system and what exactly that is. But just so you know, what you need to financially run your business is bank accounts, business bank accounts, and again, we recommend 5. You're also going to want accounting software. QuickBooks Online is our personal favorite, but Wave is a really good free option. We're going to hit on that in a minute. And then a profit plan. I like to say we do not hope for profit in our business, we plan for it. So let's jump into those bank accounts. So as I just said, I would like to see you with 5. And let me just briefly go over what those 5 are, but we do have a whole nother lesson all on the Profit First concept in which we dive further into how these bank accounts are used. But we will have one that will collect all your revenue, and then your revenue is going to pour into your pay account. Yes, you are in business to get paid, so let's make sure you do that. A tax savings account. As we know, one thing that's guaranteed, at least here in the US, is that we will be taxed. So we want to ensure that we are planning for that because it's not a surprise. We are building businesses that should give us a profit, a bonus payout. So I want you to have a profit bank account. And lastly, an operating expense account. Now, we are giving a high level overview in this financial training. Depending on your specific business, more bank accounts might make sense for you. But this is a great starting point, these 5. So once again, the 5 bank accounts are your revenue, your owner's pay, your tax savings account, your profit savings account, and your operating expense account. Yes, I would like them all in different accounts. More on that in the Profit First training. Moving on, let's talk about accounting software. The best software you can have is the one that you're going to use. Personally, QuickBooks Online is my absolute favorite, and let me tell you why. 1, it's relatively cost effective. I'm not asking or suggesting that you get this high-end QuickBooks Online subscription. To be truthful, the majority of business owners don't need that high-end subscription. I also prefer QuickBooks Online because there's so much free information on the internet on how to use it. Most business owners know how to use, let me rewind. Most accounting professionals know how to use QuickBooks Online. And a lot of business owners are familiar with it. That's why you'll see so many free trainings, and it's easy to get answers if you have a question. Now we can also weigh that with too much information, correct information, but we're not going to go down that rabbit hole. Once again, QuickBooks Online, we recommend Simple Start. Here's a bonus tip. Do not waste 5 cents on QuickBooks Self-Employed. They shouldn't even be legally allowed to sell it. That subscription is complete garbage. At minimum, QuickBooks Simple Start. Another really decent free option, yep, I said free this time, is Wave. It's an accounting software. It does not have as much robustness as QuickBooks Online, but it is a phenomenal free option if your business is not in a place where paying for QuickBooks Online makes sense. Perhaps you are just starting out and you're collecting all your initial startup costs. Wave isn't a bad place to utilize for accounting software. All right, the next key thing is you want to plan for profit. Now, don't worry, we're going to jump into it. I have a whole lesson on this because it's really the key. But rather than hoping you build a business that is profitable, I want you to plan for it. So what do I actually mean? I want you to plan on paying yourself. And I have some target percentages here that are based on the Profit First system that we're going to jump into a little bit more. So don't get caught up into these percentages yet. We'll dive more in a later lesson on those. But I want you to go into building a business and not hoping that it's profitable and planning for it. And the best way to do that is a good old spreadsheet. This is how we plan our clients multi-million dollars and all the way startups to multi-millions. We use the same system, and you can create it for absolutely free on a Google Sheet or an Excel spreadsheet. You are just going to predict your revenue. And again, we're going to dive all into this really in depth in a later training. And then you're going to plan for how much you can pay yourself out of that revenue and what you have left over to run your business off of. So real quick, what you need when it comes to running your bank or running your business is 5 bank accounts, an accounting software that you will actually use, and a profit plan, which can be as basic as a spreadsheet. You do not have to pay for anything. The key is to know that you are going to do your bookkeeping, because as we talked about, your bookkeeping feeds into all of these other core aspects.